Alrighty. Well, this is episode 36 of the Behind the Charts podcast. I'm here with my co-host Christine, and we're joined by Hunter Maven of Maven Trading, right? And
Hunter Maven. Yeah, I think that's my Instagram, but yeah, my name is Chris, but it's Chris Hunter.
dude, that's hilarious. I did not know. Randy
This
so
is Randy's
butchered
fault.
that. This is Randy's fault. Okay.
It's actually funny. Just the other day too, like I go to a faux shop all the time. I really like faux, and I've been going there for like 3 times a week for like 2 years, and they know me super well. They know my order. Everything's already prepared when I show up, right? And like I just learned the other day, they thought my name was Maven. Like, Maven, here's your bill. I was like, what? That's not even a name, dude.
It could be.
You've become the brand.
Yes.
It must be a good sign. It must be a good sign.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you give us an overview, listeners, an overview of just like how you've evolved as a trader over the years and like where that's led to you being today.
Yeah. My current state, I have a very different approach to many traders. A lot of traders are they're trying to find a strategy that sort of works. They're trying to find profit. They're trying to find their consistency, their discipline. My approach is the complete opposite. Is I try to disconnect with money as much as possible. I try to care as little as possible as the result, and I try to improve my life as a overall. I enjoy life more. I don't need trading, sort of thing, and trading is just something I do occasionally whenever I feel like it, basically, and that allows me to actually trade the best I've ever done in my life. So I've been trading for 13 years. Started in Bitcoin. Thus, we were chatting about how everything is orange, right? Everything started with Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is orange, right? Early Bitcoin adopter, and then switched over to trading, sort of doing some trading influencer sort of stuff. Removed myself out of that. It's all, I think it's all woo woo. Anyways, during that age, very much like everyone else, traded the smart money concepts, ICT sort of stuff, and the terrible thing about that is it is so confusing, and there's so, like, there was liquidity here, like there's so many things to look at, and you get confused. It's not very simple. So I would go on these big cycles, right? And you'd have winning streaks and losing streaks. And I think this is where a lot of traders get caught up on it. They found some sort of strategy that can work, but once they start getting in their head, they start fucking up. Then they go on these crazy losing streaks, and you throw away all the profits that you've had for the past whatever months it is. And then, then you go back to the drawing board and you're like, okay, I'll do this again. And they go in these boom and bust cycles, right? And that was basically the case I was getting. And I thought about it, and I was like, okay, where am I actually making money? I'm actually making money in my long-term swing plays, in my crypto investments, things like this. This is where I made a bunch of my money. So I started simplifying it. I was like, okay, why is that making money? Right? Well, I'm looking at the higher time frames. I don't give a shit, really, right? And it's super, super simple strategies, right? Buy low, let it run, sort of thing, right? So I started re-evaluating my trading style, and started becoming more and more simple, started becoming more of a swing trader. I do still do day trading stuff, and I do something called dumb money concepts, which, again, that concept, play on words of smart money concepts, right? Is I've basically oversimplified it, right? If it can't go up, it must go down, basically, right? And I'm not going to go into the strategy. People can find it online if they want to watch, but it's a super, super simple way of looking at things, and you don't ever have confusion with contradiction or anything like this, right? It's just, if it fails to make a new high, it's going to go in the other direction. That's it. Right. So overly simplifying things and then focusing on the side of my life that I actually get to enjoy, which is, going outside, seeing the cat, going to yoga, things like this. Then ultimately, again, I disconnect with the charts. I don't give a fuck anymore. And then the money just naturally comes. Right.
I love that. I feel like that goes with, I think one of the biggest things that I took away from last year, because we started this podcast last year, and a lot of people, the message that I heard over and over again was care less, like give a shit less, like do less, not care as much. And I feel like that you just said that in a much better way.
Yeah, it was quite verbose.
Yeah.
Well,
Uh,
something that made me think about here is, yeah, I was in a job interview not that long ago, and they asked me like, "Oh, what gets you excited?" And I totally butchered the answer. I like
mhm,
sounded weird, like I just didn't give a good answer. But then as I was reflecting on it last night, actually, I was like, I am just trying to create a life that works for me. So when I do a task, I get a positive dopamine reward just from
mm,
doing the task. And like you have this cycle where your life is just naturally working for yourself, where you're like always being stimulated and always being fulfilled just by your daily actions. And
mhm,
I've really started to notice like I've been doing this in my personal life for months now, but now it's
mhm,
finally starting to translate to my trading, where I'm not
mhm,
trading props anymore. I'm trading my personal money, and I'm exiting trades not thinking at all about the P&L in my account. I'm only looking at what's going on in the market in front of me, like present with it in the moment. And I don't know how you get here. Like, I don't know how to coach somebody on how to get there other than like just explaining how I did it myself. It's a very
mhm.
weird thing, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, sure. I might be able to expand on that, and maybe somebody might be able to take away from it. Is if your sense of joy and your sense of passion come from winning on the charts, then naturally, when you win, it's going to make you feel good, and then you're going to chase that high. And if
Mhm.
you lose, you're going to go into the cycle of over trading, trying to catch back those winners. And you've really identified with your sense of self worth as how well you perform on the chart, right? Something that I do is I do a lot of meditation. I do a lot of yoga, things like this, right? And it allows me to have that internal peace and I feel euphoric always, right?
Mhm.
So I can sit down on a chart and then it doesn't matter because I really do not feel anything when I look at the chart because I'm already at peace, right? So if you can create a scenario where your identity is completely has nothing to do with trading, right? And you have peace without it, then that cycle of ups and downs aren't going to matter, right? Like you could literally see yourself losing money and it won't make any difference because you are already happy and you already accept that the life you live is already comfortable enough, right?
Mm.
Yeah,
And
I love
especially
that.
when you put yourself in a position where the money that you're trading isn't going to change your life either way, where like
Totally.
I've shifted this mindset of like, okay, instead of this is my trading account, this is like my poker chips. Because I feel like there really is something to the whole casinos give you a chip, and the chip is so much easier to play with and gamble. And it's just a mental reframe instead of thinking about it as like $100 bill that I'm going to go spend at a restaurant. And all
Yeah.
these little things have really helped me just improve my trading mindset because as we all know, it's not about the system that you trade and more about what's going on up here and how you execute it.
Well, it's interesting you say that, and then also you say that you don't trade on prop firms. It's kind of counterintuitive there, because a prop firm is essentially that you're buying a chip, right? It's not real money, um, and that's actually something that helps me disconnect even further. Now, personally, I haven't traded on prop firms in a little while, just because again, I actually don't even really want to pay out right now. I'm so happy with how things are going that it doesn't matter. But eventually, I'll trade on prop firms again. Right now, I'm just swing trading and going slow. But
Well,
it's like you could just YOLO the account, right? And then
Mhm.
$100, who cares?
Well, that's actually like I got so stuck with this like I was extremely emotionally volatile around the prop firm accounts, and like I felt it way more intensely, and like as each account would get blown, it would just become an even more like I don't know how to
Hmm.
describe it, but you definitely bring up a very interesting point that I haven't thought about. And I've only kind of gotten to this frame of mind after trading the personal account and taking a step away from props. So that's definitely interesting. Just you're making me think about that.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. You're getting a different reaction then. Whatever reaction has the least emotional response for you is probably the best one. The funny thing about prop firms is they're actually easier to trade because you don't actually have to be a profitable trader to make money on prop firms. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but
Hmm.
I own a prop firm, right?
Mhm.
And
No, let's talk that.
the the more important thing about prop firms is going on winning streaks. because like let's say you're this trader that I used to be, right? Where I would go on these boom and bust cycles, right? That is actually a profitable system on prop firms, but it's not on your personal account because your personal account is always being reflected on your performance. Now, if you go on a prop firm and you go on a winning streak, boom, 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 you just got a payout, right? You passed the challenge, you got the payout. Now that payout covers all of the losing streak plus and then some. So if you do the math, which I've done extensively for the past 3 years, it actually makes more sense to do winning streaks than be profitable.
I'm so happy you just brought this up because this is my experience like over the last month. Like literally up until Friday, this past Friday, I had never made a payout. And I had spent so much time like passing combines or being in funded, like I spent 3 months in a combine once and I had a great like first month and a half. But I was trading a 50K and I was being conservative and I had a consistency rule and all these things. And so you could look at my calendar and I think I got that account up to like $5,200 or something. Like I was 1,000 away from getting a payout. But then because I'm still only, this is my third year. I'm not a fully consistently like winning trader. I had a boom and bust cycle. And eventually I just, over the course of another month and a half, went through my losing portion and lost that. And so I didn't make that payout. I finally somehow was able to figure out these are prop firms. Like just go buy a bunch of combines, try to pass 50% of them. Okay. I bought 4, I passed 3. Let's keep up with the big size because I went non-consistency. So try to get some just like money in the bank the first couple of days. Lost one. So I ended up with 2 funded accounts that had like enough of a chunk of money in there. So then all I needed was a couple days of the rule trading and I was able to get a payout on one account. And I was trying to like review all of this in my mind and I'm thinking like this really played on the fact that sometimes I'm trading really good. The market is just working for my strategy. I am like hitting the right trades. I can see it really well. And what I don't do is give it a chance to turn on me and have a losing streak. And that was what I had done before. I had just had these winning streaks, but I let it go on too long that my losing streak came by and just like took out all my profits. And I'm like, that's how I was able to finally make a payout was by not letting myself go through that downturn. Now, what you just said is true. I might the next 2 weeks lose a couple of accounts because I'm in my like down phase. I don't think I am, but if I was, but that payout that I got is going to help support that. And then the next payout when I'm in my winning streak will like kind of add up. I know that's kind of a confusing explanation, but the fact that you just brought that up, I was just honestly thinking about that and how I have to change how I think prop firms work and how I should be trading them.
Sure. Your best bet, the best strategy for prop firms is getting pretty good with bias detection, like what direction is it going to go, higher time frame sort of thing.
Yeah.
DCA into a trade 2, 3, 4 times, whatever it is, because you're going to increase your probability that it's going to go in your favor, right? And you're going to get a better entry. And then basically have a negative R risk reward, right? So like 0.75, because you're going to have such an incredible high hit rate that way. And then just shoot for the consistency score. And that's the easiest way to get a payout. It's, I've been doing this for years now, and it's every time I do it, I get a payout. So, yeah.
You're really putting it together for me here because the whole negative risk to reward thing on the internet is like popping off right now. And
popping off.
It's popping off, but I think in the wrong way where people are making it like a battle between, this one or that one, but really it's just about matching it to the style of account you're trading. And that's very interesting because every trader who's been trading for like a year or 2 years experiences the good cycles followed by the bad. And my thing was I could never get the good cycle to like get there. I did plenty. I did a few times, but not like consistently. And then as you were saying that before, I thought I really struggle with the boom and bust cycles. Like I lose a lot of self-confidence really quick. and like we'll get to like negative thinking in the bust cycles, and that's probably one of those main contributing factors to why I didn't succeed with prop firms like quite as well as I may have, or like other people do. um and gosh, I just, you're just putting it together that like the negative risk to reward on prop firms works so well because it's just about putting money in the bank, and it's not about trying to push every position to like see a full thesis through. And that's what I see a lot of traders struggle with.
Yeah. Here's a hook for a clip that you can probably use. Like, prop firms is not trading. Prop firms are not trading. It's a completely different environment. You don't need to generate alpha. You don't actually need to be a profitable trader. The more important thing is going on these winning streaks, right? It's essentially, it's a game you're trying to beat, and you're not actually trading. Your goal is not to make profitable trades. Your goal is to get a payout, right? It doesn't matter how you trade. You want to get a payout before you spend too much money. And the actions you do are ultimately trading, but the end result of you making money has nothing to do with trading, right? So your whole game is actually trying to beat the whole system is trying to beat their game, whatever rules they've set in place, and then you just abide by those rules so you don't get denied, right? And then the trading itself is like the least important thing in prop firms, which is ironic, right? If you're trading a personal account, you have to generate alpha. You have to be a profitable trader. You should shoot for higher R trades, let things run. But it makes no sense because they limit your profits in prop firms. Shoot for the minimum, base hits, right? And then get out as fast as you can. Don't try to make a lot of money. Get out as fast as you can, blow the account, and get another one.
So would you say that you could change your, like, because you're talking about doing a negative risk to reward with prop firms that have consistency rules, like a consistency percentage, would you do that same way with prop firms that don't have consistency percentage?
I would shoot for the entire target immediately, basically. Yeah. If they let you hit the whole thing all in one day, do it all in one day. Be super aggressive, right?
Yes.
That's the issue. So the one case I would advise you not to be aggressive is if you're a brand new trader and you don't really know what you're doing, right? Because you're gonna gamble and you're gonna blow all your funds, and it's a much faster way to go to poverty, right? But if you basically kind of know what you're doing, the best way to do it is blow the account every single day or pass.
Wow.
Right? And just do it as fast as possible. And when I've been doing that, I got about 2x ROI on my prop accounts, right? Whenever I've done that. And I did that all throughout the past few years, showing them all on live streams. And you just can't do that on a personal account. Like I could make 20% in a year swing trading, right? On a personal account. Or I could double my money in a month on a prop firm by buying 10 challenges and then, getting 2 payouts, sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
So let me ask you this to kind of like to bring it all full circle, because there's a lot of people who, let's say their budget's like $300 a month or $400 a month for prop firms.
Yeah.
What would you advise that trader to do? Because I have to imagine that's the majority of them, and that the majority either don't have the confidence in themselves to spend the money or literally don't have the funds.
Yeah, I completely understand people's perspective with budget and whatnot, and I've actually gone through a challenge where I've done this on a budget. I lived out of my Jeep for a few months, homeless, and basically simulated not having any money, right? And I did this exactly. And have a personal account where you long-term invest in swing, right? And have a job where you have some sort of stable income, and devise a budget that you're allowed to buy prop firm accounts with, whether that's $100 a month, whatever it is, right? So you spend all that on prop firms. Whenever you get a payout, don't spend any of it. Don't put more of it into prop firms. Put it into that investment account, right? Put it into that swing trade account. Just keep buying Bitcoin, whatever it is, right? The amount of the wealth creation you're looking for is not from trading. When you're broke, you're not going to get rich from trading. You're going to get rich from buying Bitcoin and waiting for 5-10 years, right? So you want to just snowball that faster and faster and faster. So this way you're also going to disconnect from it, because any amount of money that you have, you don't get to spend any of it. You make a profit, you make a payout, it goes directly to the investment. You wait 5-10 years, right? And you just keep doing that for 5-10 years. And then if you started with, whatever it is, $1,000, right? Then, if you keep snowballing that with payouts, and then swing trades, your investment, whatever it is, like it accumulates very quickly. And within 5 years, you could probably have 100 grand pretty quickly.
Cool. I love that. Do you swing trade Bitcoin only right now, or do you swing trade other assets?
I positionally trade Bitcoin
Mm-hmm.
on spot, and then I will swing trade gold, NASDAQ, and individual stocks.
Okay.
And
Cool.
then if I'm day trading, which I do as well, I'll basically do that on prop firms usually.
Yeah.
Because again, that's the fast one, right? Like that's the one that you just get in and out. You don't want to mess with your own money either. Super easy to go on spirals, right? If I'm going on a spiral, I'd rather it be somebody else's money. Right. And then, so I'll trade only the NASDAQ if I'm day trading.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for
NASDAQ
your
is super
Yeah.
for your swing trading tickers and like what you're looking for, how do you determine if it's in play? Like how do you create a watch list? And I'm personally asking that selfishly because I'm looking to get more into some swing trading stuff this year. And the biggest wall I feel like I'm trying to hurdle right now is like creating a watch list of in play stocks, whatever the hell that means.
Yeah, cool. Well, it's a bit loaded. It's a loaded, huge question, right?
It's
So
it is. A time frame, everything is all
so
relative.
overarching, there's I guess there's two sectors that you could be looking at. There's what generally is going on, is the economy and global economic newses and whatnot. If things are messed up, you probably want stable things, gold, copper, silver, things like this, right? Kind of like now. If the economy is doing super well, okay, stocks, NASDAQ, things like this, okay, you can start looking at those. I don't ever short. There's no point in shorting. You just switch to a different asset, right? If Bitcoin's going down like it is right now, trade gold. Who cares, right? Just you don't need to short. It's silly. So from there you can pick that way, right? Based off of economics. And if you're looking for individual stocks, there's something I like to do is whenever there's drama about something, this is kind of a really helpful hint. Like Netflix recently had some drama about, being boycotted and whatnot. The product is still the exact same thing, which means they're still going to make money again later. So after all the drama dies off, you just buy up all the selling, right? It's still the same product. Netflix can easily, so Netflix, there was some controversy about what videos they were creating, right? And people didn't like it, right? All they got to do is start making different types of videos and their company's going to be back to normal. So wait for all the drama to die off, buy up the bottom, and then I did the same thing with Tesla. When people were burning Tesla cars, I was buying Tesla, right? And then it doubled, right? It's still the exact same company. People still buying it, right? And so that's a really good thing with stocks is you can individually pick like which one, right? More or less, if I'm just overall swing trading or day trading, unless it's like a pick like that, it's just going to be gold or the NASDAQ or Bitcoin.
Do you have since you are trading the metals, do you look at anything fundamental? Like do you think about any like further understanding of why silver's just ripping face off and gold and like metals like that? Or are you I just look at the price action and trade that?
Yeah, I mean, well, again, with everything, the more things you look at, the more information you have, the better. I'm currently long on copper. I've been long on copper for a little bit. There are reasons outside of the technicals. One is there's a copper shortage right now, which what do you think is going to happen to copper if people need to heat their homes and have electricity. Obviously, we need copper. It's a very important metal, right? But if there's a shortage, price is going to go up. Duh, right? It's the only metal that's not pumped massively yet, right? So it's probably going to follow suit pretty quick, right? So I'm super long on copper right now. And as for silver, it obviously pumped because the correlation between silver and gold was super, super low. And people finally realized, hey, silver is actually kind of rare too. And it was like super cheap with respect to gold. It usually has like a 1:16 ratio, I believe. And it didn't have that. Anyways, you can kind of just think about things as they come, right? The great thing about fundamentals is they're not going to trick you. There's no manipulation with the fundamentals. It's not like the technicals where, okay, if it's going up, maybe they're faking us out. No, there's no fucking such thing. If there's a copper shortage, copper's going up. Like, it's obvious.
Andrew, I see the commonality here. It's about the physical product. What's the physical product, and is price just having a reaction that's like an abnormal reaction, but the physical product is still there, still important, still needed. That's a great point. I really appreciate that.
With something like Bitcoin, something like cryptos, can't really use that because no crypto does anything. None of them, all of them are useless, basically, right? Like, I think XRP is used in banks, but again, it's just for wire transfers. You just use any other crypto, who cares, right? So crypto doesn't have any sort of real world case. So that one you can't really speculate.
I see. Interesting. Well, what kind of attitude or mindset are you taking into your 2026 trading year, and is it at all different from last year?
Yeah, drink more tea. That's my goals for this year. I want to just chill, hang out, have more tea, meditate some more, do more yoga. It's my again, I told you, like, my approach towards trading is the money will come. I it's an interesting approach. Is I already can afford rent. I can already afford food. I've already determined that this is a life that's sustainable. So any amount of money that I make is for what? What am I going to spend it on? I'm just going to leave it in an account and it's going to grow bigger and bigger and bigger. And that money means nothing to me when it's in the account, right? It's just a bigger number and I don't get any dopamine from it. So it'll slowly grow over time. And then maybe one day I'll retire, right? I don't care personally. I don't want luxury shit. I have a house, I have a cat, I have food, right? That's all I need. A lot of people might have different goals, but it's something that I've realized that if I aspire to becoming rich, I just burn my life down, right? Like I just end up becoming an egomaniac and super cocky, and I end up doing dumb shit, and that's my personal lived experience. But some people might be able to be successful in being a cocky douchebag, and I'm not very good at it. So,
well, I've gotten into some trouble myself with like setting monetary goals on trading things, because something one of my mentors, David Capablanca, really reinforced for me is that the energy that you bring to trading every day is really important to be positive. It needs to be a positive energy. So that's why it's important to stack small green days. It's important to not go on tilt, because all of those things are anti-positive trading energy. And if you just keep doing these small little habits, small little things, you just stack that energy over and over. But when I didn't reach the monetary goal that I set for myself, it took the wind out of me. And so I've really been trying to reframe, do I even need monetary goals in trading? I want to have them because the only goalpost is money. But at the same time, how can I not hurt myself with a monetary goal at the same time? And you kind of seem like you have you kind of fluid with this. So I'd love to hear what you're thinking about.
I think monetary goals are ridiculous. It makes a lot of sense for something like, hey, running a business, I would love to make 10K a month, sort of thing, right? The harder you work, the more calls you make, the more sales you make, boom. It's direct correlation. Same with going to the gym. The more plates, the more dates. I don't know if you know that guy, but whatever, right? The more weight you put on, the bigger you get, sort of thing, right? And it's a direct correlation. Trading is not that. Trading is one of the only things that the harder you work, the worse you do, right?
So crazy.
Yeah. So sorry, there you said.
Essentially, what's your relationship with setting monetary goals? And because trading, the only goalpost is money at the end of the day.
Yeah. I mean, my opinion is I like to do this just because it's a fun hobby, right? I think trading is a hobby. I think it's something cool to do. You like to play the game. It's a system, gives you a little bit of a dopamine feedback. You had said something earlier, and I was just trying to recall exactly what it was. Something about not over trading or something, like something your mentor said.
Oh yeah, keeping the energy positive, small green days, not going on tilt. Like you want to
Yeah.
be bringing good energy into each trading day, and like these are the small habits that help get you there.
Yeah. So this is something that I see all the time in the trading spaces. People say these kind of like things that'll make you better, like bring the right energy to trading, right? Or I need to work on my discipline, or things like this. It's like let's focus on the energy one. What the heck is energy? What is the right energy, right? And let's say for example, you have the right energy. How did you get it? Right? Like people, I don't know if you know what I'm saying exactly, but this is the solution. You just got to show up and be the right energy. How the fuck do I get there? Right? And there's no actual steps, and everyone's like, oh yeah, the right energy, right? The right energy, that'll fix it. And everyone's got this like, okay, now I'm going to be good because I got the right energy now. No, you're not. What if your girlfriend's mad at you, or what if you didn't sleep well last night? Like you're not going to show up with the right energy now. What are the steps that every single day I can make sure that I'm in the right frame of mind, right? And for me, so I can actually give you proper feedback. For me, meditation was one of the huge ones, right? Having a slower pace of life, right? Calm music, these things throughout the day, right? I actively I cut out people in my life that cause drama, right? Like you have to be incredibly peaceful for myself at least, right? So that you can have the next right energy tomorrow, right? Because exactly everything you consume becomes you. So to kind of answer the question then is if the only goal is the monetary goalpost, well, money is a chaotic dopamine fix. It's an addiction in itself, in my mind, right? So if you're an addict chasing different highs, that's not very peaceful, is it? Right? So you have to not be addicted to the monetary growth. Otherwise, you're going to be a crackhead trying to get your next fix. You know what I mean? And we all see how calm crackheads are.
I've definitely been a crackhead in the trading world for sure.
Yeah. Oh, we all have been.
Yeah.
Right? That's how we start. It's the only way you'll ever start trading is being a crackhead about it, because you want to get rich. But the only way you'll ever be profitable is by becoming not that crackhead anymore. Complete duality of the world.
Yeah, there's a bunch of things I love. I don't know. You're just giving a good perspective shift. And I think I needed this conversation actually all at this moment in time.
Yeah.
Because we've talked about before, obviously, what you do off the desk is going to make the biggest difference in your work life. But I think the idea and the main word that you've used is creating a peaceful life, and how that literally can change everything. And I was just talking to someone, my current mentor, and he's like, make a list of your like perfect day. And I think that's the start of really discovering what my peaceful life looks like what I want to feel. For me, it's going to be different than many people. Like I love travel. Like I want travel to be incorporated in my life so much that's like peaceful to me, because it's actually exciting for me, but it helps just give my overall life this amazing like balance. And that has nothing to do with monetary value. So I super appreciate the conversation that's happening because I feel like it's all kind of clicking together a little bit, at least for me. What are you thinking, Thomas?
I'm thinking the same thing. I was going to say this actually reminds me a lot of Lawrence's podcast because Lawrence was talking about how he's now studying Buddha and like looking to find that inner peace. And like that was half the conversation was him just finding that inner peace, inner self. When I met the guy, like he is, he is that embodied. And yeah, I just wanted to say, thank you for the conversation. I am conscious of the time, and like this has been like a very jam-packed episode, and I think there's a lot to take away from this.
I've got some very strong opinions that completely counter, but basically the entire industry, what everyone says,
But I think it's important for like people to start hearing that, and especially for us, like like Thomas, Randy, and I, we're all fairly new to the trading industry. And this whole podcast has been about just like going along the journey. And we talk about all these struggles and things like this. And like, honestly, these podcasts help us more than, I know some of the listeners, it's going to help them, but like us, it really helps. And I think we all need to start thinking, especially because we've had a big conversation about prop trading versus real trading. Is it different? Is it the same? How do you do it? How does your mindset handle it? And I think you actually spoke on that. And I wish you were here last week because we talked about that. And Randy said that he thinks prop trading is the same as personal trading. So I need him back on here when you're here so that you can tell him it's not.
It's very obviously not.
But yeah, and the other thing that I liked, I know we can't keep you long, but you said trading is like a fun hobby for you. And I feel that. It's actually, I don't want to make it all about this, but it's one of the reasons why I think stay-at-home moms or moms with younger children should actually get into this because it's such a good hobby, but it also gives you it just gives you a little bit of structure to your life and something to work towards, but also gives you the time to be with your family. Like, I think just that sentence alone is such a good reason why more people should do it, especially like in a situation like I am, where I have 2 younger kids. I can still pick them up at school because less is more. I really should only be at the desk for an hour anyways, but it still enriches my life by doing this because it's my fun hobby. So I like that you said that.
Yeah. It is a really important question. We can kind of I suppose close it out with too, that viewers can ask themselves, right? What is it about trading that is important? I mean to say, why do you want to trade, right? And a lot of people are going to say immediately money, right? But that's a retarded answer because there's a lot more money that you can be making by running a business or something. Trading is not a good way to make a lot of money unless you've fallen for the trap that, this 23-year-old told you that he can become a millionaire next year, right? And it's not necessarily possible, right? So what's the next options, right? Like freedom, I suppose, might be another one, right? So if your goal is freedom, or another option too is like, be honest with yourself. Like, what is the purpose of the money too, right? Oh, it's probably to like impress your friends, get a hot wife, get a cool car so that you feel cool, right? There's a lot other ways to be cool, right? You know what I mean? There's a lot other things you can do, and it doesn't need to be under the guise of I did this as a trader, right? So you can develop those skills in other aspects of your life. And I don't understand like the incredible fascination that like trading is going to solve all my problems, because you can actually solve your problems with other ways, right? The other one is freedom, right? Well, you don't need very much money to be free. You just need to be more frugal, right? You can live cheaply, trade small bits of money, and go slowly about it. And the thing is, all these traders are sitting down 12 hours a day trying to trade, obsessing about this, right? And that's not very free. You're a slave to the chart. You're an addict, right? So, again, ask the question again, so the viewers at home is like, ask yourself honestly, like, why are you trading, right? And the only thing that I could come up with for myself was I kind of like figuring out. It's kind of fun to figure it out, the pattern, right? And I'm bothered that I don't know it, right? So I'm trying to figure it out, and it makes me kind of happy when I do, right? So it's like, there's nothing that doesn't do anything, right?
I love your approach. I love your approach. All your the stuff will be linked in the description.
Mhm.
Your proper website, Instagram,
And your actual name.
Yeah. Is there anywhere else you want to send people?
I own Maven in the back. It's kind of backwards, I think. Maventrading.com. It's one of the only firms that's never had a problem. Really, we made sustainable systems that we don't deny payouts. We've never had a problem in the history of 3 years. Super highly rated. So if you guys want to check that out, I am one of the owners of that. Otherwise, I also do Dumb Money Hunter and live stream every single day, doing the exact same rants that I'm doing right now, except in front of a chart and jumping around a little bit more.
Amazing.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to do a part 2 because I know Randy's going to want to be here and we'll have more conversation.
Yeah.
And all
Lovely.
that.
Yeah. Thanks for your time,
Thank you
Chris.
so much.
Thanks so much, Chris.
Have a nice
Ciao.
trading week, everybody. See ya.